In this video, we will see the changes in UG-99, Standard Hydrostatic Test, with respect to ASME Section VIII Division 1, 2025 edition.
In UG-99, whatever has been added, I'm 100% sure if you have been involved in this kind of work, you have already been doing that activity. So it will, all of it was part of your unwritten rule. It was becoming your procedure. You're not able to back up with the code, but everybody knew that this has to be done. Now, can you give me some example of that you have been doing already that now it has been addressed? Test time. We agree with that. Test time. What is the test time? No? Holding time. It was there in TEMA, but not given in Section 8 Division 1 anywhere. Open-end blinding. So every component which is part of the hydrostatic test, but not as a considered as a part of that equipment, because it is going to be not to be supplied with the equipment, right? So certain rules has to be followed for that, right? So whatever blinding you are doing, what about the quality and design of that? So earlier also we used to do calculation because you don't want that part to fail. Any one of you have heard of any failure, maybe witnessed, or I think it's witnessing will be very rare, but at least you might have heard of a component failing in hydrostatic test? What are the typical locations of failure? Is it the component which failed? If you are saying welded joint, which welded joint? Any particular joint which you might have faced, but welded stiffener? Okay, I'll give you one hint. So all the blinds which we are using, which is not part of your equipment, using a flange, which is not part of the actual equipment. What people used to do, if you have to close a bolting opening and the flange is not part of your deliverable, people used to use a plate flange with lots of stiffening, and the most important part, without any proper calculation, because nobody asks for it, isn't it? Any blind which you are using. See, when we are working in Larsen and Toubro, a simple component, a small nozzle was blinded with a plate and it got filled. Okay. So those are the parts where typically you'll see the failure, where people have not put lots of thoughts. Material has not been checked. The design has not been done. Obviously, it's going to fail, right? So who will take care of that? So test setup, which is having the same amount of pressure which your pressure part is having. For pressure part, you're doing all the calculation. What about the parts which are having the same pressure but are part of test setup? Nobody cared about that. But now it has been very clearly added. Okay. Many companies did that because people understood that it is required. It's going to see that pressure. So we have to do some calculation. Right. So that is one kind of thing which has been added. Now it is part of the UG-99 requirement that all the test setup now officially has to have a calculation. Parts has to be of qualified material. So now it has become like a part of pressure part. No, it has become similar to a pressure part, okay, which is really, really required. Okay. The second thing you might have seen, I think many of you already told, the leakage in the flange joint. So what happened when there is a leakage in the bolted flange? More torque. And what do you think? People used to wait for reducing the pressure and then tightening. What people used to do? When there is a leakage in the shop floor, when there is a hydro test going on, with the shop floor, people waited for reducing the pressure or tightening during the test. What people did? What should be done, that is a different thing. But what was getting done? Always tightening during the test. Always. Irrespective of the type of company, that was happening everywhere. Okay. So it is completely written now in the code that you should not do it. Yeah, it's a very, very dangerous malpractice. Very, very dangerous. See, that your job is pressurized with such a high pressure. Okay. And now you are in that pressurized condition doing any kind of activity. It's forbidden. Right? So, okay. So you should never tighten during the hydrostatic test pressure. Now, it leads to one more very good point which has been added, that hydrostatic test pressure, when you are doing the inspection, what it should be. So earlier code was mentioning that it can be reduced to MAWP. So it meant that it should be more than MAWP. So people being in safer side, they used to do the inspection in the hydrostatic test pressure condition. Okay, keeping that equipment for such a high pressure for more than 10 minutes is really, really dangerous. Okay, so now the clause has been rewritten. The value remains same MAWP, but code is now saying that keep that at MAWP, reduce the pressure, bring it to MAWP. So little bit change in the statement makes lots of difference. Earlier it meant keep it higher than MAWP. Now it means keep at MAWP, reduce the pressure and keep it at MAWP. Makes sense? So now these are the things which you'll see in the new code. Now if I show you what are the changes, complete reorganization. Yes. Safer inspection pressure. So it should bring back the test pressure to MAWP value and then do the inspection. No hot repairs. Hot repairs does not only mean welding, but it also means tightening of bolts, any kind of activity. Okay. You should not do it in the fully depressure. Even you are at MAWP, you should not do it. Okay. Completely depressurize that and then do those activity. Defining holding time. Okay. Now, most of you already shared that the 10-minute time has been defined now. Rule for test equipment. This is a very, very important part. So detailed requirement has been added and you have to make sure that integrity of the test setup. So means you have to do some calculation to justify the integrity. Okay. Otherwise, AI will not allow that. Okay. So UG-99 has direct impact on all the design calculations, on all the design engineers, even for inspection, even for shop. Okay. So you should be very careful with this requirement. Okay.
Our flagship courses are Master Static Equipment Design and PVE Light, ASME Section VIII Division 2, and Master Welded Storage Tank, as per API 650. We have curated courses to suit your learning needs. For in-depth training, and to learn more about these courses, register with the link in the description.